So basically, one of the biggest things in this country, I think, is the debate on guns and gun violence. Isaac and I live in rural Maine, right? And guns is one of those things where, I think it's a way of life around here. I think
I do think it's kind of ingrained in our culture.
But I think one of the biggest things is, concealed and carry permits. And people like to be protective of their things, their family and themselves.
Which is a good thing.
It really became a question in this country. The Second Amendment, it's always been up for debate. Gun violence has always been up for debate. What guns should be banned. But because of Donald Trump, I think the conversation has really started to evolve into something bigger than it ever has been.
Do you really?
And I think
I don't know. It's always been a pretty big conversation.
But I think we're much closer to having our guns taken away than ever before too, because of the fact that we have such leftist liberals in Congress. And let's be honest, that's where the real decisions are made, is in Congress. And I feel like one vote could change everything.
It has always been really on the edge pretty much for this sort of thing.
But Republicans are really starting to scare me because they're really starting to back down against Democrats' wishes. And I feel like our gun rights might be at risk of being taken away. Now, I believe in our Constitution, Second Amendment right, the right to bear arms against tyranny of our government. And in general, the right to bear arms, that's a very important sentence, because the right to bear arms is one of those rights, constitutional rights that we have. And that was something that our founding fathers intended for us to have through the generations of this country.
One big argument I've heard that is, back when the founding fathers wrote our Constitution, there was no 30-round guns. It was not automatic as in the sense of bang, 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 but automatic as in the sense of pull the trigger and after it shoots, it loads another round. There was no things like that, and people just think that because that wasn't a thing back then, and guns are so much more deadly now, that the Second Amendment needs to be reformed or isn't even valid because that's not what they were talking about. What is your take on that? What do you think of that?
Guns, with anything, it evolves. It changes over time. Things get more powerful. We use guns in war, and there's so many different kinds of guns now. There's so many different kinds of weapons, but it's a fundamental right. The Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. That doesn't mean. But it doesn't say in there. It doesn't say the right to bear arms unless it gets too powerful. It doesn't say you have the right to bear arms until 2016.
Well, I think
it doesn't say that. It says you have the right to bear arms.
I think the important thing to look at with this is look at the weapons that they had back then. What was the battle tank of that era? It was a cannon. That was the best weapon they had. And you know what citizens could legally own and can legally own today? I can go buy a cannon. I can do it. I don't even think they're restricted by by firearms laws. You can just buy a cannon. I don't think so. And that was the most powerful weapon of their time.
Here's the stats. Here are the statistics. These are hard facts. There's about 11,000 lives lost per year, and that number isn't including suicides. Now, suicides, believe it or not, in this country, we count suicides done by guns in that entire number of deaths by guns.
That's on this Giffords Law Center article you're going to post in the description, and it's clearly a liberal focused news whatever. And their big thing that they're pushing is 100 Americans are killed with guns every day. And then if you scroll down, they start pushing 36,383 Americans die from gun violence. But gun violence, I think, is inherently suggestive of violent crimes. Crimes committed. Right. And sure, suicide, I think, is technically a crime, which people shouldn't kill themselves. I'm not saying that.
But suicide, but you can't count gun suicides.
If you're gonna kill yourself, you're gonna kill yourself. If
but here's
there's
the
a gun
fact.
Convenient, you might do it that way. If there's a rope convenient, you might.
That suicide, the gun suicide is 61%
of
the whole pie. So 22,274 people die by gun suicides. That number shouldn't be included in the the deaths by gun violence, because that isn't an act
Right, but
committed on
I mean,
somebody
at
else.
least-
That's an act committed by somebody on themselves.
At least this
that doesn't
article is
affect
being
anybody
open
else.
about that. You know, at least
But
they're
you
not
want to know
hiding
something,
it.
Isaac? If someone wanted to really commit suicide, they'd kill themselves by knife. They'd jump out in front of a vehicle. But you know, that's
if
my point.
The same goes
You
for
take
if
away
someone
guns-
really is crazy and wants someone dead, they're gonna kill them. Maybe with a gun.
But
maybe
you
with a
take them
knife.
out with a gun.
Maybe with
But you-
strangulation. They're
But
gonna
Isaac,
kill them.
You take guns away. People are going to find out other ways to commit
Right.
suicide.
exactly.
You can kill yourself by any means.
it's the same-
I could smash
it's-
my head up against this up against this wall and kill myself by blood force trauma. But seriously, are we going to ban walls?
Yes.
Are we going to propose to ban knives?
We shall live in all padded rooms run by the government. That is the
you
only
wanna know
way.
the best
That is
example?
the only way forward, Gage.
But do you want to know the best example of what they want to do in America is the UK. Take the UK. They banned all guns. Guess how people die now? People kill people with knives.
Yeah, it's
So what should we do? Take away the fucking knives? Should we tell people it's illegal to take knives out of your house? So let's talk about the statistics quickly,
Yep.
briefly. So so my statistic was there was 11,000 lives lost per year. Okay, so let's scrap that. Let's take the stat from the lawcenter.gifford.org and let's subtract suicides. Okay, let's subtract suicides totally. That gives us 14,108 lives lost per year. That's a big number. But let's talk about how many lives are saved by firearms. Now, the statistic is anywhere between 500,000 to 3 million lives are saved per year. Now, even if we included suicides in this, that is still the lives saved is a really significant number, higher number than the lives lost. Wouldn't you say, Isaac?
Oh yeah, for sure.